Hello and welcome to week 2 of our 8-week series here on general overview introduction to the Sahaja technique. In week 2 through week 7, we're going to be getting deeper into the practice, focusing on different topics week by week, and ultimately getting deeper into our meditation as well. By week 8, we will be doing an overview, just a review of where we're at so far. So here we are, week 2. If you need to catch up, go ahead and search over to week 1 to catch up to where we are. We aren't going to be going over very much repetitive stuff. Today we're going to focus on the 3 energy channels within our subtle energy system. These are known in Sanskrit as nadi. Nadi simply means river, and so it's a river of energy that's flowing through us. 3 rivers of energy, in fact. So each week we're going to be going over the P and the P of Sahaja, which is the practice and the process. So the practice, how we meditate, how this practice works, what we need to be doing in order to make it happen. That's the practice or the technique that enables us to reap the benefits. And then we'll be going over the process as well, talking about what's actually happening if we're properly engaging in the practice. What's actually happening, the process, what's happening when we meditate. So we're going to start by focusing on that when we're talking about our 3 energy channels today. So overall, our process is this activating, balancing, strengthening, ultimately reestablishing of our inherent subtle energy system. That subtle energy system, again, comprised of 3 things: our inner energy, our kundalini lying dormant at the base of the spine, our energy centers or chakras, which we have 7 of, and our energy channels. So ultimately what's happening as our inner energy or kundalini is awakened, she's rising up from her dormant state, rising through these 7 energy centers or chakras, putting them into balance physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and also creating balance within our 3 energy channels or nadis. We have a right, a left, and a central channel. So we'll be going into detail into these 3 energy channels so that you understand the workings of what's happening when you start and get deeper into this meditation practice. So our first energy channel that we're going to focus on is our left energy channel. And this image, this depiction of our subtle energy system is going to kind of mess with your head just a little bit, because the depiction is accurate in reality. So imagine this is a meditator you see on the screen. The meditator's left side is depicted here. This is the left channel of this image or this meditator. If you kind of rotate yourself 180 degrees, just spin around, this is you. This is your left energy channel. We're looking on our right, so that's kind of going to mess with your head a little bit. So our left energy channel, we just want to be really respective and accurate, as this is the image, this depiction. It's his or her left energy channel. So this left energy channel rises up the left side of our being, crosses over right at the 6th energy center at the center of the forehead, and culminates on the right side of the head. So we're all familiar that the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body. So our energy system has the same practice in place. It's very much in tandem with medical science. This is often referred to as our moon channel. The Sanskrit term for it is the Ida Nadi, or our left energy channel. This is our feminine channel within us. So we can think about that moon channel as our feminine channel. If we're thinking about the yin and the yang, this is our yin. So we'll get a little bit into the aspects of this channel, the qualities. Now, all of these qualities, they may be strong or weak within us. So we'd like to call them our positive potential qualities, but they can also be weak. So the qualities of our left energy channel is the most important one is our pure desire, the power of our desire, our wanting, what we want to happen in our lives, all of those cravings, those ideas that are just bubbling up inside of us, those desires, those emotions, those expressions of want. And in pure desire, what we're talking about is a desire that's intrinsically tied to the benefit of our evolution. So a benevolent desire, a desire that's actually going to help us rise up, going to help us evolve, going to help us improve in our being. So not a selfish desire, not a materialistic desire, nothing like that, but a desire that's actually tied to our evolution. This is our potential energy. So our desire actually doesn't do anything. It just has the potential to do a lot. So our desire, our left channel is our potential energy. This is tied to our emotions and our sensitivity. So you can understand that these may be very strong in some of us or weak in others, stronger at certain times, weaker at other times. Our left energy channel is also tied to our intuition and our past. So our focusing on our past, this may be in rumination, regretting the past, cycling over what has happened. That can be in a positive perspective in that we might process what's happened, process the past very in a healthy way. We also can deal with the past in an unhealthy way by regretting, feeling guilty, ruminating, not moving forward. So these qualities can be strong or weak, and our meditation is what's going to help them get into a strong, balanced state. So if our left energy channel is imbalanced, if it does have a weak nature when we are beginning in our meditation process, these are some of the attributes we may observe within ourselves. And this can come and go. Our channels are constantly going to swing like a pendulum. So when our left energy channel is weak, we may be lethargic, any of these qualities, excessively focused on the past, unable to bring ourselves out of focusing on the past. We might be insecure, doubting ourselves, exceedingly submissive to a point that we can't really claim our dignity or our respect. We're always sacrificing, just exceedingly sacrificing for others. And that may also manifest as an emotional imbalance. Ultimately, when our left energy channel is extremely weak, we find ourselves noticing symptoms of depression. Ultimately, we can become completely depressed when our left energy channel is weak. So there are ways we can balance our left and right energy channels. Because our left energy channel, when it gets imbalanced, it becomes sluggish. What we want to do is warm it up. That helps activate it, that helps counteract the sluggishness that's happening when our left energy channel starts to slow down. So I'll be talking about the foot soak technique at the end of class today. When we're doing foot soaks, we can help our left energy channel by making our water warmer or hot, whatever temperature we're comfortable in. And we can also balance our left energy channel with a very simple balancing technique that we'll be doing in our meditation today. So I'll go over that before our meditation. Ultimately, just meditating is what's going to rid our system of imbalances and establish all those positive qualities. So let's get to our right energy channel. It's on the left of us. We're looking at it here, but it's actually our right. So if we think about this as the right of this image, the right energy channel begins near the lower right side of the stomach, rises up the right side of our being, crosses over at the forehead, and culminates on the left side of the head. So the left side of the brain controlling the right side of the body. So we get kind of that connection. This is our sun channel. In Sanskrit, it is known as our Pingala Nadi, or right energy center, right river within us. This is the masculine channel. We've got our left side, which is our feminine channel, right side masculine. This is our yang to our yin. So this is our active channel. The ultimate quality of the right channel is that of pure action. So all of that potential energy that's happening on our left side is going to manifest through the qualities of the right side, through the quality of an action that is beneficial for our evolution, for the collective evolution. It's going to manifest. This is the kinetic energy. So all of that action, the desire and the action absolutely come together as that yin and that yang. So the right side, all of our doing, all of our executing, everything that happens has to do with our ability to harness our power and activate and utilize the power of our right side effectively. This side is tied to the future. So how do we deal with the future? How do we focus on the future? Do we do it in a balanced way, just planning and preparing in a balanced way, or are we exceedingly focused on the future and that we're unable to bring ourselves into this present moment? That ultimately will lead us to talk a little bit about what happens when we're imbalanced, how we can have these qualities be manifested or can be within us in an imbalanced way. So when our right channel is out of whack, it's become overactive, that heat is going to just overflow. So the right side is really the opposite of the left side. The left side will become sluggish as it gets out of balance, but the right side will become overactive, very hot. So what do we see? Aggression, reactive, just reacting to everything that's going on around us. That might be an audible reaction. It might be something that others can hear, something that we can hear or see within us, or it might be a silent reaction within us where we're just frustrated, gritting our teeth, but we're still having those silent, frustrating reactions within ourselves. Egocentric and dominating behavior have to do with an imbalanced, overactive right side. Will become insensitive, blaming others. Our personality can become very dry, very robotic, very without a lot of desire. We've got kind of a pointless, robotic kind of feeling in our lives, losing that spark, that joy within us. Our attention becomes weak, so our ability to focus actually becomes weak when our right side is not in balance. So how do we deal with the future? If we're dealing with it in a balanced, well, healthy way, then we're using the right side in its limits. But when we are overly focused on the right side, in the future, we're ultimately going to become anxious and nervous. So that's what we see when our right side is out of balance. So how do we cool down that overactive right side? If we're doing the foot soaking technique, we want to cool it down. And we can also do a balancing technique that we'll be doing during our meditation today. So we'll be doing balancing of the right and the left side in class today in our meditation. So now that we've talked about the right and the left energy channel, let's talk about the central, which is really the most important thing that we want to focus on within these three channels, because this is the channel where everything is happening in our meditation. When our inner energy gets activated, awakens from her dormant state, she is actually rising up that central channel. In Sanskrit, this is known as the Sushumna Nadi, or the river of our central channel. It's the channel of our evolution. And so in our meditation, as our inner energy, that Kundalini, is rising up, she rises in a clockwise, upward spiral activity. That is going to help us evolve. This is what this practice is all about. So as we are working within this channel, each of our energy centers are going to become established in their positive attributes. So ultimately, we are evolving. This is the middle path that the Buddha has described. So the path of our evolution that if we walk upon it, we will move forward in a productive way in our lives. This channel can be tied to all of these qualities: our spirituality, our balance, because it's our center. It's definitely our balance. When we start living more grounded in that central channel, we become that pendulum that I described, where we typically might be on the right side at times, overactive planning, futuristic, nervous, anxious, just do, work, fight, react, and then swinging to that left channel where we sulk, we become just more than tired, feeling depressed, feeling lethargic, doubting ourselves, until we pick ourselves back up and jump right over to that extreme of the right side. So we're typically swinging from that right to the left. Once we are established in this practice of meditation, our ability to become grounded in the center gets strengthened. So it becomes our balance. We are increasingly able to control those extremes, so that the pendulum reduces in extreme, so it stops going to extremes on the right or extremes on the left, extreme reaction and anxiety, extreme depression and lethargy. It starts to reduce in its extremes. Ultimately, we find that it's easier, ultimately effortless, to maintain ourselves in a balanced central state. And our integration of all of our energy centers happens within this central energy channel as well. So that's a bit about the process that's happening when we get into meditation, but it's not going to happen. None of this actually is going to activate unless we are having a successful practice of meditation. So how do we get into this practice of Sahaja meditation? It's simply sitting in a thoughtless awareness state, not being engaged in mental activity, not being engaged in our thoughts, but finding a silence which exists between our thoughts. And this is what we are training ourselves to become better at, finding that silence between our thoughts. So if we look at our mental activity is measured in frequency. These are our brain waves. A typical example of the different measurements of our brain waves or frequency of mental activity. So very high frequent activity here on the top, and at the bottom here, very reduced activity, which is associated with sleep, detached awareness, and healing. Typically, we can assume that we're somewhere in this range of activity, alertness, concentration up here. So we've got a good amount of activity going on. If we kind of zoom in and we take a look at this, we can imagine each one of these peaks being one thought or one aspect of mental activity. It might have a concrete beginning, middle, and end, a complete sentence or idea, or it may be just a fragment, a little blip of activity that's happening within our brain. So these are our thoughts. We can look at it that way. When we have extreme activity, obviously, those thoughts are coming a mile a minute. This is why we don't get peace. This is why we don't get silence. This is why we're nervous and anxious. But when our thoughts start to slow down, they become more easily observed. We can start to see them as complete entities. So the reduction in thoughts enables us to actually see them. So this is when we get to that point of observing our thoughts, this becomes more of a mindfulness or observation state. What we're doing in Sahaja, rather than observing those concrete thoughts, is we are looking at the space in between them. So as they reduce, as we don't engage with them, as we stop observing them, stop entertaining their presence in our life, in our being, we can start to focus rather than on those thoughts, rather than on those peaks, on the valleys in between, on the silent gaps in between. This is the present moment. All of our thoughts correspond to the past or the future. We're just not thinking when we're in the present moment. So as our thoughts reduce, we are going to find that gap expands. It becomes easier and easier to start to stop associating with thoughts, stop observing thoughts, stop noticing them, that stops entertaining them. They start to dissolve, dissipate, and ultimately we get into a state which is really almost a flat line. If you're truly in the deep state of meditation, flatlining is a fantastic thing in meditation. So how do we reduce our mental activity? How do we get there? So we talked about getting into the state of thoughtless awareness, focusing on the space in between our thoughts, stopping entertaining our thoughts as they all correspond either to the past or the future. So to eliminate that tendency of focusing on the past or the future, we want to focus on this present moment and see what happens. It's a state that we rarely engage in. We can recognize that there's really nothing to think about if we are dedicated to learn how to meditate simply, that we want to learn how to be in this state of meditation. Well, simply while meditating, we don't have to talk about when we're not meditating, but at least while meditating, there's nothing we need to think about, nothing we need to prepare for or think about in the future, nothing we need to process in the past. So we can have that dignity and that decisiveness to stand on that dedicated focus of targeting our attention right here in the present moment. Physically, by focusing our attention above our mind, above the seventh energy center, which is right on the crown of the head. So if we look at our entire crown of the head, this is at the center of the top of the head. So right between the front and the back of the head at the crown of the head. In that point that was soft in our infancy, it's known in medical science as the fontanelle bone area or little fountain. By focusing our attention above that area, described as the torsion area or the limbic area, we are going to be having more effortless ability to be present, to be focused in this present moment. This is how we get into the state of thoughtless awareness, diving into that space between our thoughts and bringing our attention up and over the top of the head very simply. That's all it takes. Not engaging in the past, not engaging in the future. So focusing our attention, suspending our thoughts, getting into that state of thoughtless awareness. Just quickly, we'll go back to the process for a moment. Once we're in the state of meditation, we're going to take all of those imbalances that are manifesting within us. This is a bit of a teaser because we'll be getting more into this week by week. All of those imbalances that manifest within us from time to time because our energy centers, energy channels are out of whack, imbalanced, those are going to become strengthened. And so we'll start to see the positive qualities within us replace the negative ones. That's what's happening once we get into the state of thoughtless awareness. So as always, our meditation will involve some of these simple gestures and affirmations. You don't have to memorize them. I'll be guiding us through them just to help us cleanse our energy centers and get into that deep state of meditation. And in our meditation today, we'll also be doing a balancing exercise, which will help balance the left and the right channel. Our left side balancing is always going to keep the left palm open on our lap, and our right hand will be directed towards the floor. If we're sitting on the ground when we do this exercise, we can actually place our right hand right on the ground or right on the earth. But we can do this sitting in a chair and just let our hand dangle down next to us. When we balance our right side, we're going to return our right hand back to our lap, right palm open on our lap. Left arm is bent at the elbow so that the left hand, palm of the left hand is open behind us. The left hand is near the left ear. So this is the very simple balancing technique. Like everything new, we might want to analyze why, how does it work? But what I recommend in the initial stages of learning the Sahaja practice, not to believe anything that's being presented to you blindly, but rather like anything that you want to see if it works, give it an honest try. So simply by incorporating these balancing techniques into our meditation while in the state of thoughtless awareness, watching and seeing what effect that has on our being and on our meditation. And we'll talk about understanding, analyzing all of that later. Absolutely, we'll get there. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into our meditation. Our home position, again, is palms open on our laps, fingertips apart, placed right open on our lap. We can close our eyes, take our glasses off, get nice and comfortable in our home position. Seated comfortably, not overly tense or upright and not exceedingly slouched or relaxed, but just gently, comfortably placed however we're sitting. What are we faced with when we begin our meditation? What is coming at us? Ideas corresponding to the past, things that we haven't dealt with, that we're worried about forgetting, that might be coming or might not be coming in the future. Where is our attention? Where is our focus? Can we grab a hold of that power of attention? That ultimately we harness the reins for that power of attention. We have complete ability, complete authority to control where our attention is directed. Can we grab hold of it and bring our focus within ourselves into this present moment? In this moment, there is nothing we need to think about, nothing we need to worry about, nothing we need to plan for. Doesn't that feel so good that we can let all of our thought processes completely take a vacation just for these few minutes of meditation? There's nothing we need to respond to. We don't need to be attentive to sound or activity around us. This is absolutely a selfish endeavor to pay attention to ourselves, to improve our own being, so that we can offer more to our families, to our communities, and to our world. Where is this present moment? Let's see if we can bring our focus over our head and then find it. We'll raise our hand from the base of the spine to the top of the head, cupping our hand in front of us and slowly raising our hand up from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. When our hand reaches the top of the head, we can place the center of the palm right on that fontanelle bone area, that soft spot, the center of our scalp, and give that area a gentle massage. This is where we want to gather our focus. We can give that area just a gentle massage by pressing and rotating very gently. And then let's raise our hand up an inch or two over the top of the head and observe what we might feel close to or farther above the top of the head. Without thinking about it, without forcing it, without analyzing it, what sensations can we feel, might we feel, as we explore that area close to or farther above the top of the head? This is where we want to bring our focus up and over the top of the head. So let's keep our attention there, where our hand is just above our head, slowly bringing our hand back to our lap, palms open, while maintaining our focus up and over the top of the head. Let's focus on some of our energy centers to help clear the way for our inner energy to rise up, to help us get into that state of thoughtless awareness. We'll start by placing our right hand on the lower part of the stomach. Right hand on the lower part of the stomach on the left side. So our right hand is just near the left hip. As a part of our meditation journey, while we bring our focus within ourselves, we become able to access truth. Being in the state of meditation enables us to be completely connected with truth, with pure knowledge, truth that is undebatable, truth that connects us and doesn't divide us. So, with our attention within ourselves, let's have that desire to tap into truth, to pure knowledge. I want to connect with the source of pure knowledge within. Let's bring our right hand up to the upper part of the stomach on the left side. Our right hand is on the left side of the stomach, just left of the navel. If we have within us that access to pure knowledge, to truth, then we can lead ourselves by way of being our own teacher, breaking our dependence on fads, on trends, on being led astray through any false guidance. If we are connected with truth, then we are ultimately our own masters. We have that intuition, that guidance from within. So let's say from our hearts, I am my own master. I am my own teacher. I am my own guru. Watching our attention while we meditate, whenever our thoughts start to get us engaged, distracted from this present moment, we can silently communicate to them firmly, not now. No thoughts are important at this moment. There's nothing I need to respond to, nothing I need to think about. And return our complete attention up and over the top of the head. Let's bring our right hand up to the heart, left side of the chest. Our right hand is placed right over the left side of the chest, just nice and gently. The quality of this fourth energy center, or our heart chakra, gives us the ability to connect with our pure self. To become recognized as something beyond our physical being, something beyond our mind, beyond our emotions, beyond whatever we have achieved or failed in life. We are ultimately not defined by any of this, not by wealth or lack of wealth. We are defined by our pure spirit. So connecting with that pure self by silently saying from our hearts, I am not this body, I am not this mind. I am the pure spirit. Looking for what that feels like, seeking out the form of this formless, pure representation of self, connecting with our essence, that essence that remains unchanged throughout time, throughout all aspects of our life, that self which remains true. Let's take our right hand up to the left side of the neck. Our fifth energy center at the throat level, right hand on the left side of the neck, turning our head to the right, opening up this area. One of the imbalanced ways we deal with the past is by feeling guilty, accumulating blame on self. Let's blast open all of that accumulated guilt by saying from our hearts silently, I am not guilty. I am not guilty for anything at all. When we feel guilty, We limit our potential, we limit our ability to stake claim within our lives. So let's stake claim on our existence. I do not feel guilty. I am not guilty. I deserve everything that life has to offer. I deserve greatness. Let's come on up to the forehead, right hand across the forehead. We're opening up and clearing our energy centers, getting ourselves into a deeper state of meditation in that process. At the sixth energy center at the forehead, using that power of forgiveness from our hearts without thinking of anyone in specific. Silently, we'll say, I forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. I completely forgive everyone. And I forgive myself. There's no lip service here. These words are coming from our hearts. There's no reason to feel anger or spite or resentment. It won't punish anyone or correct mistakes that someone else might have made in the past. It's only going to negatively affect ourselves. I completely forgive everyone, and I forgive myself. Let's bring our hand back to our lap, palms open on our laps, and see if we can at this point let our focus rise up like a gentle rising of a cold air balloon. This is not a hot air balloon, but it's a cold air balloon gently rising up, crossing the forehead. All of that mental activity, it's unobservable, it just doesn't exist. Rising up with our focus to the crown of the head, and if we can, slightly above, hovering and expanding our attention into that space over the top of the head. This present moment. Slowly, let's raise our hand as we did in the beginning, cupping our hand in front of us and slowly raising it up. This action reflecting our desire that our inner energy rise from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. We can do this action a few times, raising our energy, raising our focus, tying our attention to the movement of energy within us, to the state of existing in this present moment beyond all thought, immersed in the silence of the present moment. Once our hand reaches on and above the crown of the head, we can again observe any sensations we might be feeling close to or farther above the top of the head. Let's give that area a gentle massage once again, taking the center of the palm, pressing and gently rotating on the crown of the head. We can bend our head slightly forward so that we can apply a gentle pressure to that fontanelle bone area, gently pressing and rotating. This happening when our inner energy rises up and culminates at the crown of the head is known as self-realization. So we want to express that desire for this happening. It only happens with the power of our desire. It doesn't happen without it. So silently, but from our hearts expressing that desire, I want to experience my self-realization, or I want to deepen my experience of self-realization. letting our complete focus exist at that one point between our hand and our head, not attentive to our hand or our head, but on that point in between the hand and the head. Slowly we'll raise our hand up, an inch or 2 or 3 over the crown of the head, and let our attention expand into that space in between the hand and the head. Not aware of the hand, not aware of the head, but letting our focus dissolve into the space in between. This present moment. Let's keep our attention there as we bring our hand back down to our lap, our home position once again. Our focus maintained up and over the top of the head. How deep can we dive into the present moment? How determined are we to stop engaging in mental activity? How confident are we in the experiment that if we stop thinking, stop worrying, stop planning, stop regretting, that we might actually have a different human experience? Right here, right now. As we engage into that state of meditation, thoughtlessly aware, focusing into that space over the top of the head, patiently not engaging in thought, letting those thoughts come and go, hardly observing them or neglecting them altogether, and seeking out the silence that comes after each thought, in between our mental activity. While in this state of meditation, let's balance our left and right energy channels. We'll begin by balancing our left channel. We'll do that by keeping our left palm open on our lap. So left palm remains open, fingertips apart on our lap, and our right hand drops down to our side. Let our right hand just dangles down next to us. If we're sitting on the ground, our right hand can be placed on the floor. Keeping our focus while we do this very simple action, keeping our focus in meditation, in thoughtless awareness. Letting the process take place. Letting any imbalances affecting, weighing down our left channel be released from our system. Letting that heaviness, that sluggishness be replaced by all of those positive attributes: intuition, sensitivity, a balanced connection with our emotions, the power of pure desire. It won't get better by analyzing or thinking about it or even understanding it. While in this state of meditation, we don't need to focus on any of that mental activity or mental exercises. We're simply letting the process happen while in thoughtless awareness. As we balance our left energy channel, we may start to observe some sensations on the palm of the left hand or on the palm of the right hand. You can just observe them, not reacting to them, not letting them get us engaged in thought. Just observe, keeping our focus up and over the top of the head. Let's bring our hand back up to our lap, right hand back up on our lap, right palm open on our lap, fingertips apart. We'll now balance our right energy channel. We do that by keeping the right hand open on our lap, palms open, fingertips apart, and bending our left arm. We're focusing on our right channel, so our right hand stays open on our lap. Our left hand is bent at the elbow so that the left palm or the left hand is near the left ear. Keeping our focus on our right energy channel, if it's helpful to direct our attention, expressing that desire as we do this action of cleansing our right channel, feeling that desire within that any imbalances, any impurities present in my right energy channel, all of that aggression, reaction, egocentric dominating behavior, all of that excessively futuristic behavior, that anxiety, that nervousness, that inability to slow down my mind and my body. Let all of that be cooled as my right channel gets into balance. Without thinking about it, just keeping our focus up and over the top of the head. There's nothing to think about, just diving deeper into that state of thoughtless awareness over the crown of the head. Observing any sensations we might start to notice on the palm of the right hand, on the fingertips or the center of the palm. We might observe some sensations on the left hand. Continually redirecting our focus into the present moment. Past and the future do not exist while we are in meditation. Let's slowly bring our left palm back to our lap. So we're back in our home position, both hands open, fingertips apart on our laps. Focusing now on our central channel, which begins at the base of the spine, just beneath the sacrum bone, rises up the central path of our being, and culminates at the crown of the head. Let's follow the rising of our inner energy as she rises up from the base of the spine to the top of the head. We can raise that energy a few times right up the center to the crown of the head. And observe now what, if any, sensations we feel close to or farther above the top of the head. We might feel or observe and some kind of sensation. It might be easier to observe closer to the head. Some of us might be feeling it farther away. Just comparing that difference. And then we can switch hands, comparatively observing with the other hand up and over the top of the head while meditating, just observing. What is the reflection of this happening? Keep our focus there, up and over the top of the head. As we bring our hands back to our laps, let's maintain this state, focusing on our central channel, focusing on the raising of our inner energy, that process that's taking place within us, but ultimately working towards getting into the state of thoughtless awareness, diving into that silent gap in between our thoughts and maintaining our focus there. Let's stay there for a few minutes as we meditate with a bit of music. Go ahead and bring our focus into the palms of our hands. We can raise our hands up off of our laps so that our palms are open in front of us at the level of the heart. Paying attention to any sensations that we're feeling at this point in the palms of the hands. Just taking note, tuning our focus into that very subtle reflection of this happening. While in the state of thoughtless awareness, we will become more able to have this vibratory awareness. Slowly bring our hands back to our laps, slowly bringing our meditation to an end, and opening our eyes. So before we end today, some next steps. If we aren't already in a routine of meditation twice a day is going to help us get this system going, moving out of storage and getting activated. This is what's going to see result in transformation in our lives. So twice a day, 10 to 15 minutes in the morning for a bit, and in the evening, just sitting in that state of meditation, engaging, diving into thoughtless awareness by keeping our attention in this present moment. We don't have to do anything special, but if any of the techniques we learn in classes here resonate at any point, we can tie them in doing any of these exercises that help us, if they help us to get into that state of thoughtless awareness. Our foot soak technique is very simply taking a bucket of lukewarm water with a nice handful of salt, and in our evening meditations, soaking our feet in that nice lukewarm bucket of salt water. When we're done with our meditation while foot soaking, we'll have a glass of clean water next to us. Just rinse our feet. That's it. I'll be posting a link in the description to that technique so that you can be guided in it, and I would encourage you to do that technique daily in the evenings and join collective meditations as much as possible to continue to get that guidance, that redirection to help us stay into that middle path on that path of evolution to bring us into the meditative state of thoughtless awareness. Thank you so much for being here with us. I look forward to meditating with you again very soon.